Hello guys, and this is another video by Lizzie K. If you know me, you already know this might be some rambling. Today I was going to react to people's comments to my stories, but then I thought about it and there are like so many comments that if I react to one, I could go on for hours about it. So I think it would be better to do a video about how to deal with negative comments, how to deal with people who might comment on your story and say things like your story is stupid, it's dumb, you could have done better, shame on you, stuff like that. Now, in my defense, I have had a lot of comments in relation to grammar and stuff, and to be honest, as a writer, you are responsible for making your story quality as best as you can, to have people read over it, look over it, to send it to someone who can, correct it and whatever and what have you. But at the same time, I've made it very clear on my account that I am not going to do that with my chapters. One, because there's a lot of people who will steal your work, and I figure if I'm not making money off of it, like I'm not really making real money off of publishing on Wattpad. That's another thing. A lot of people can be demanding and kind of disrespectful on Wattpad occasionally, and you have to remember, like, we're not really making a short of money on this. Even though they do have Wattpad Futures, and that is a program I'm a part of, I don't really know how that works, and I don't really pay attention to it because I really make more money from publishing my books than I do from this Wattpad Futures program, which is all I'm going to say on that. Quite frankly, I do think the system kind of should be adjusted or fixed a bit to be more direct and more capable, so you can at least see it. Because at least with YouTube, you can click on something and see like how many people are reading it, how much this would earn you, the views you're getting. While on the other hand, you can't really tell. With Wattpad, it's like a secret system and only a few minor people know about it. So sometimes I feel like if they were a little bit more transparent on that end, the program wouldn't seem so whatever. But anyway, back to how to react to reviews. Well, there are a lot of ways you can react to reviews. Some people get defiant and they like to argue with other people in the comments. I'm not a fan of this. I don't really think it's appropriate. I think unless it's different if it's become your thing. Like if you become known as the author who claps back at people who say stuff about their story, then yeah, I mean, it's your thing. It's what brings the crowd to you. So that's whatever it is. On the other hand, there are those who like basically don't respond at all. They just don't react to it. For me, it depends. Like I am perfectly fine with people not liking my story. I don't really see it as a bad thing. I mean, hate and love both sell. For me, I enjoy when it's not me who corrects other readers. If someone comes to my story with some craziness and the other readers do it, if Queen Nation reacts to it, I'm actually super proud. I'm like, yeah, you guys know what you're talking about. And most of the time, people who react to the comments, they're like older. Like a lot of my readers are actually my age or older, and I'm 27, so that just says something. And if they are young, they see something ignorant, I just kind of ignore it. If you're under the age of 15, I really don't try to like argue with you, because again, you're under the age of 15. Why would I argue with you? But the best way I think to deal with comments is to realize at the beginning of your career that you're going to be putting your work out there and people are not going to like it. That's just how it is at the beginning of anything, from YouTube videos to singing videos to booktube videos or anything, books. And there are going to be people who are going to look at your work and tell you it's crap. The difference between you and the other person who might not succeed is that you ignore that and you keep going, you keep pushing. Like I try to only take in, I read every comment in every review, because in case there's something in what they're saying that is very correct. So for Highland Song, I got a lot of critical reviews. They were paragraphs long. They were like 2 paragraphs. But I appreciated that because it showed that the person had not only really read my book, but they also could see places where it could be improved and where I could improve as a writer. And a lot of them also mentioned that they saw promise in me, and I took that as a very I took that as a compliment. I mean, at the end of the day, if a reader reads your stuff to the point where they turn to you and they're like, look, I love your stuff, but if you just fix this and this, I would love it even more, or you should work on this, or you should work on that. That's good criticism. That is something you should take in, and you should let that happen. I think a lot of people are scared of criticism. Like I started doing reviews on YouTube, which is only like 5 videos in, and I kept asking people, like, can you review my book? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Do you want to record it? Because I'm trying to maintain recorded reviews over writing, because writing really they're funny, but it really takes up a lot of time from writing an actual book, and I have a few of those that need to be written. So for me, it's way easier just to talk about a book that I read. Obviously, because I ramble and I rant. But a lot of people are like, well, I don't know. They're kind of scared, I guess the word is, and I'm two ways. Like, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm totally like, they call it sincerely, I get you, I relate to you, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, how on earth are you going to be able to put your book out anywhere? Like, how can you have a book and not be able to deal with criticism? It's like when you're going through Wattpad and you're seeing stories where they're like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Then why put your book out? Like, don't put your book out if you don't want anyone to say anything good or bad. Like, if you only want someone to tell you your story is great, then you're in the wrong field. You should go do something else. Do something that you know you're good at and that you know no one's going to judge you for. For me, and I know that's like hard to hear, but it's really no point. It's no point in putting your artwork out there, your creativity out there, and then being scared that someone might not like it. Like, I live for people who criticize my work, really criticize, and I'm not talking about insults. Like, for instance, you don't have to like if someone says your stuff is shit. Like, if someone reads your book and they're like, this is shitty, that's not actually a good review, nor is that a good comment. That's actually a dick comment and a dick review, and that is what it is. Like, some people will be like, well, you know, I have a right to my opinion, that's all well and good, but all of us know that our parents raised us to not use our mouths to hurt other people's feelings. I don't think anyone's parents was like, yeah, I'm gonna raise you with this intent and purpose of you going out there and saying whatever the hell you want and hurting people's feelings. That's not being critical, nor is that being an action. That's not judging someone's work. Like, for instance, I was reading this girl's work, and a lot of people will do this. Like, they will basically write a story, and for what I'm thinking, okay, I won't name the name because I have a review coming for this book, but the way it starts, quite frankly to me, it starts in the wrong place. Like, where I finally get to in the book, I'm like, it should be swapped over. I wasn't going to say, well, why are you wasting our time with this first chapter? No one cares. It'd be more impressive if you did this. I mean, you're totally stupid. Why? Like, I'm not going to go in and do that because I know she was just like, when you just start writing something, you're not really sure where you're going to go with the book. So you might start without even realizing in the middle of the story. I mean, if you understand how writing is, what writing is, and the process of writing, a lot of people will start a book and be like, you know, any writer would be like, oh, well, I started in the middle, and then I realized, wait, this is the middle of the story, and then I realized, oh, there's a whole beginning that I have to explain, you know, because if you're writing like an 80K book and you're like going to take your time, sometimes you realize that's really what the case is. So for me, I was very, I wasn't bashful or anything like that. It's just, I don't like bashing and I don't like insulting people. So you can tell there's a lot of times I had to come for some people. Like, for instance, in TSTP, the story is called Their Slave, Their Princess, because she's captured and she's technically their slave. Now, of course, I got a couple of messages in my box about this line where he says, you're our slave, and a lot of people were like freaking out over that. And I was like, you know, there are obvious reasons why people would freak out about it, but I kind of wanted to put on the other hand that a lot of white authors can write a white character in slavery, and it's not taken to like this zenith where you can't even read about it. Like, I'm not saying there's a positivity to slavery because God knows there's not, but in the storyline for Rocky and Boschik, that was a form of claiming like, you're ours and we'll protect you, so don't endanger yourself. And I was like, I hope a lot of people are aware of that. It's just like when people were trying to come, not for me, but a lot of people know better. They don't come for me. They come for my book, which is why probably I don't have to deal with it a lot, because a lot of people don't come for me. They come for my characters in my book, which means I'm doing my job. When you're coming from when you're mad at my characters, that means I did my job correctly. A lot of readers seem to be unaware of this. Like, if you read a book and you're pissed off at a character in the book, the character is an evil person, duh, like, you're supposed to feel that way. The writer has done her fucking job if you hate the villain, because the villain is to be hated. Like, why? I don't understand the reviews on Amazon. I didn't like this character. Well, of course you weren't supposed to like the fucking character. You wrote the character so they wouldn't be liked. Like, duh. That shouldn't be like, oh, I hate it. Well, I give you 3 stars because I just couldn't stand Cassie's ass. If Cassie's ass was a bad, evil person, yeah, I should get 5 stars because I just made you hate someone you're supposed to hate. Like, oh gosh, you can see I have moments. I have my freaking moments. You're seeing the other side. Anyway, So for me, I just really, really, really hate insulting reviews. But for me, I think you should deal with reviews as you would deal with anything. Like, you know, someone can say what they say, but you are controlled of yourself. I control completely my reactions. So when I had a lot of people freaking out about the slave thing, I just kind of trying to make it very clear, like, hey guys, like, did anyone, because a lot of people were getting mad. I was like, did y'all read the title before you clicked on the damn story? Like, hello? So, and I got a message in my inbox, and I wasn't having it. So I was like, you know what, I could take the story down and publish it on Amazon. If y'all have problems with it, obviously the person understood what they had fucked up, and it was moved on. We moved on from there. Because I don't entertain dumb. I don't have time for it. I choose not to entertain it. And I will face it dead on. Look at my little, like my dragon hairstyle. My dragon twists and coils. Anyway, y'all better get used to this hairstyle. Y'all gonna see it again over and over again. Because this is, I'm trying to get my hair to grow. I'm natural, so I'm trying to get it to grow. It's like here, I'm trying to get it a little farther. So, yeah, I mean, depending on, and it depends on sometimes, like some people will click on a book on Wattpad and it's like they didn't read the description. This is why I am so insistent upon summaries. Like, there's nothing worse than you to have a fly cover. I click your story and it's dumb. Like, I mean, I know everyone feels me when you look at your cover like, oh, this cover is awesome. You click on it and you're like, oh, so this is what this is about. And you're just like, oh, God. Because there's some books, I'm not going to call nobody out because it's just like, that's just not what I do. But there's some books that just make me go, you could have held this in your hand a little bit longer, sweetheart. Like, you could have just held this close to your chest for a bit longer, and then you could have shared it with the world. I don't know if this helps, but like, just don't give a shit. Advice, don't give a shit. Reviews are reviews. You only should pay attention to the ones. I do believe that you should read all your reviews and comments. I do believe you read them, but I don't think you should let them affect you. It's just so you can see the trend of what people like, what they don't like, and you can use it later when you write books. It's more of a marketing thing for me. Like, when I look at trends and reviews, I'm like, okay, so a lot of people like my historical romances because, again, it's not a lot. You don't see a lot of it featuring Black female characters, and you don't see a lot of it not involving slavery. And a lot of people might be like, well, you're just trying to ignore it. And like I said before, I don't think every book a Black person should pick up should involve slavery or discrimination against Black people. I feel like at a certain point, you're miring yourself into a negativity, and it can interfere with your imagination. Like, I don't want kids to think that, oh, Black people can only be slaves. We can only do this. That's why Black Panther. Yes, I saw that fucking movie. Hashtag Wakanda forever. Yes. But, I'm hyped. I was like, oh, I could do a video about that. But, for real, like, it really is, like, it's empowering to see Black people or people that are Black with, roles that are generals, they're warriors, they're clans people, they're kings, they're queens, they're advisors, they're in a kingdom, and, kid could be like, I'm a warrior, instead of thinking, oh, 12 Years a Slave, that's my highest reference for my Black culture, or a movie, like, it's like 12 Years a Slave, and then you go all the way to the other end as Boys in the Hood, which both were really great. Cinematography, these movies were great, but at some point I was just like a lot of Blacks, I think I just got to a point where I was like, I just want to see something where, we're funny and we're living life and we're doing crazy things and we're awesome people. And for me, I think that's another thing why I do get such a reaction, so many comments, so many views. So again, that's another thing Black female writers should look out for. You wondering, why can't you get a lot of views? Why can't you get a lot of people looking at your book? Maybe you should reassess what you're writing. I mean, not to be negative or anything, but sometimes, it speaks to it if you pay attention to why books are getting a lot of views and a lot of interaction. When you look up the writer's writing, like, look and see. Like, don't just, and that's the thing. If your goal is to be a real writer, you need to start paying attention to trends. You need to start paying attention to what's going on in the market. You need to pay attention to what's hot, what's not. That is just the basics of being a writer, especially when you're trying to be a writer. There's a lot more than just sitting down and writing. That, of course, is the most important part because you got to do that in order to have a book. But you have to study. There's a whole market, a whole world behind it, a whole clan of people, from cover artists to marketing to agents to publishing companies to production companies, different styles of writing, different groups, genres, subgenres, cults, cults like Harry Potter is a good book, but it also has like a cult behind it, a fan cult. So you have to like learn these things, and when you learn all about that stuff, sometimes it's easier because you're like, you called my story poo-poo. Okay, great. You're 14. Bye. Have a nice day. Not looking down on 14-year-olds. I'm just saying, you know, there's a point where you start to realize that, like, you know what? My goal is greater than the negative comments that are below, especially if you have a greater goal. So I think a lot of people should take reviews with the weight that the review is given. The review is 2 paragraphs and it's in depth and it's really deep about like the story and the plot, whatever. That's fine. I've gotten reviews where someone claims to know that I was writing. A lot of people don't really get my style of writing. I have a very particular voice, so sometimes I have to be careful what complaints about grammar I pay attention to, because some people don't. They didn't read my story well, the right way. That sounds crazy, right? Like I'm blaming the reader. But yeah, some people don't read my stories the right way. And so they think, oh, it's not making any sense. But if they go back and actually paid attention to it, because I know some people read on the fly. I do too. Don't play. But yeah, so that's my advice about taking reviews and comments with like, you know, this much. Actually, like, don't even care. Like, until your book, and then like, don't even care. Like, you don't write for other people. One thing you should never do is start writing because you want to become rich and famous and people to look at you. I mean, you can desire views, whatever, but I don't think I ever, like, I wrote kind of with that, like, small hope that people would like it, but, I wrote kind of with the small hope that people would like it, but I never was like, oh my God, if people don't like this, you know, my life is over. So be good, be happy, be Wakandian.